Good to see you all in here. We got Rainbow Ribbons, Joy in here, and Kung Fu Panda. I am so sorry, friend. Kung Fu Panda's cat, Little Prince, had tests done and it was not bad news. So all of our thoughts are with you, Kung Fu Panda. Hate to hear that, and I'm glad we're here to keep you distracted. Get your mind on something else for a little bit. And the something else is this crazy Anne Rodriguez. I've actually talked about her before. I did a video on how the Epstein emails, when they were released, had all these weird mentions of rural troubled teen schools. And it was really freaky. We didn't know at first if he was recruiting from them or using them as a punishment. Then both are still possible. But what we eventually found out is Anne Rodriguez, Epstein's island manager, had two daughters. And one of them was getting into some trouble, and they decided to send her to a troubled teen school. It was a pretty horrific deal. She was emailing, begging to be able to come home, saying she didn't feel safe. She thought she was going to die there. It was pretty crazy. And then she got expelled from there for fighting. And the emails from her mom, from Anne Rodriguez, about this incident were really wild and really revealing. Like, she was less concerned about her daughter and more concerned about making sure that Jeffrey wasn't inconvenienced. Hey, Stacy, the OG, good to see you in here. Oh, I made a mistake. Kung Fu's Little Prince is a corgi. I apologize. I thought it was a cat. Kung Fu's corgi, Little Prince. Kathleen, we got bad news about some tests, so we're all got our thoughts with Kung Fu and Prince. Hey, Array, good to see you. But yeah, so Anne Rodriguez, very, very just wild stuff in the emails. More definitely seemed way more concerned about the effect that her daughter's problems was causing for Jeffrey than for her daughter. It was very weird. Rainbow Ribbon says, when I hear about those schools, I always think of poor Paris Hilton. Me too. Yeah, that was rough. Rough. Kathleen is praying for Prince. We appreciate that. I know Kung Fu and Prince do too. So I had read a bunch of Anne Rodriguez's emails before, and I started seeing news a few weeks ago. It was while we were traveling. I started seeing news that she'd been arrested for imprisonment of a trespasser to the island. And then I start reading the details, and I was like, oh my God. When she found the trespasser, a guy, he stepped on the island, he was taking a picture, heading out. Like, he wasn't trying to explore the buildings and stuff. He was trying to do a picture. I do recognize people have been trespassing all over that island like crazy. And obviously the security there is going to have an elevated response because it keeps happening. But Anne's response was really, really over the top for an employee. Her response seemed like someone who owned that land, you know what I mean? As opposed to someone who was getting paid to work there. That's how I felt. Hey, Highland girl, good to see you. We got Kathleen Fleck in here. Hey, Kathleen. So yeah, I'm reading Anne's response to this, and I thought that was over the top and just crazy. Well, then the guy who she hogtied and imprisoned went on the Sean Ryan show and did an interview telling about what he went through and gave some more details, and it got weird. Hey, Trip the Light, fantastic, and Tony 1300, good to see you both. I appreciate y'all coming in. So one of the weird things I noticed when this guy's given his interview was he said the employees around the island were working with the two girls, Sierra and Emery. Sierra and Emery. Excuse me, friends. Let me get a drink of water. Hey, Laura. Good to hear you. Or Sia, she is listening in but working. So Anne's daughters, Sierra and Emery, were involved in the tying up of this guy and along with other employees. The guy described them as the Haitians who work there. And they kept saying over and over to him, "Oh, you think we're bad? Wait till the owner gets here. Wait till the owner gets here." Now we know the island was bought by Steve Deckoff, this other billionaire. He bought it in 2022 or 2023 and had plans to open a resort there in 2025 that's never materialized, obviously. So this guy is thinking that Steve Deckoff is who they're referring to when they're like, yeah, wait till the owner gets here. When the owner gets there and it's Anne. They're referring to Anne Rodriguez, Sierra and Emery's mom, the same Anne Rodriguez who managed it for Epstein all those years. And hears her saying crazy stuff like, if it was up to me, I'd shoot them right now and things. And like I said, no one would really think of an employee having that kind of reaction. And they were referring to her as owner. So there's something really weird there. Hey, Brandy K, good to see you in here. I've only been talking for about 8 minutes and haven't gotten into the articles and emails yet, so not too late. Triple A, yeah, I think 1970 has gifted enough memberships that all the regulars in the lives are members now. I've got some plant videos and cat videos I'm going to put together after I get off here and put up on the memberships tab new. And then another thing, too, is I have some old painting videos from several years ago before I had a YouTube channel that I'm going to edit down and post for y'all. I thought y'all might enjoy some of those. Rainbow, are we a cult? No, no. Just a commentary crew hanging out. Oh, I mean, we might be a cat cult, an animal cult. All of us in here love animals. I haven't heard of one person in chat ever who doesn't love animals. Patricia Constantino says, Kung Fu Panda, my prayers are with your precious corgi. I relate very well as my mini schnauzer passed on May 3rd. It's very difficult. My heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry, Patricia. We'll all be thinking of you as well. It's such a hard thing. It was several months ago, I lost my Bella cat. I'd had her for 19 years. She'd been with me, so I really get it. Brandy, on the notifications, several people said that if they unsubscribed and then resubscribed, they start getting notifications. I always hesitate to say anything that involves unsubscribe. It's like, no, don't leave me. But that does seem to be working for the people who've tried it. Trip the Light is fantastic. It says 1970 is awesome. I need those pics so we can get another Funko. Oh, perfect. Perfect. He's been hitting the gym. He's ready for a Funko. 1970 said what I said was exactly what a cult leader would say. Oh man. Yeah, Critter Crew. I should start using that tag on our members only. Critter Crew. Oh, Millie's Cat Cult. I love it. Millie's Cat Cult. There we go. Rainbow says I could be a cat cult. I have a little black kitty, so I'm part witch. Oh yeah, my Bella cat that I was just talking about, the one I had for 19 years before we sadly lost her to old age and stuff. She was a black cat and a polydactyl with extra toes. Brandy says we need a mule. I do need a mule. Only thing holding me back from getting one of Grandpa's mules from Southwest Missouri and bringing it home is acreage. I need land outside of town. And ever since the tornado here in 2024, all the OGs here know I've talked about that before. We got hit by a tornado in 2024. We're some of the super fortunate people who had good insurance and, we got a new roof and all the home repairs and our car repairs and everything. But I forgot where I was going with that. I'm sorry, y'all. Why did I say Oh, because Brandy was saying we need a mule. Yeah, ever since the tornado, even small patches of land around here are just like insane, crazy expensive. So that's the only reason why we don't have a mule. Let's see. Brandy says, I am old Funko. You remember the crocheted Millie with the felted kitties? That's a Funko Pop Millie that Triplelite Fantastic crocheted that. Her daughter did the felted Dave and Johnny and Coda. Yes, Kathleen, we love our furry babies here. Array says, I only have dogs, but I do love cats. That's fine. You're welcome in the cat cult as a dog lover. Maybe it should just be critter cult. I think someone said that. Millie's critter cult. I mean, I have snakes too. I'm a big snake fan keeper. I actually have a second channel where I was showing my snakes and doing history videos. And whenever my health kind of took a downturn several months back, I just didn't have the energy to keep up with the two. But I am going to get back on a posting there eventually. Kung Fu says, Highland, I keep thinking how different it will be. I can barely breathe. Oh, I know, Kung Fu. Yeah, for anyone coming in now, Kung Fu got some bad news about her corgi, and we're all sending up thoughts and good prayers and good wishes for her and Prince. Hey, Joe King Rogue, hope you're having a good weekend too. Thanks for being in here. Trip Delight says, I have a poly too. Polydactyl cats are so cute with their little extra thumbs. Rainbow says 19 is an amazing age, keeps a wonderful care and love. That's what my vet said, because whenever she started, having problems all of a sudden, I was like, what have I done wrong? How did I fail her? And the vet was like, hun, most cats have these problems 3 or 4 years before yours is. You did everything you can. You're welcome, Patricia. I'm glad to have you in here. Ooh, I love goats. Do you have baby goats? I love the way they hop around. So cute. Tony 1300 says, make sure you have it set to all in your notifications. Yes, yes. Joyce is all without a GoFundMe. Imagine that, right? Oh my. Kathleen says, you need yard birds. I do. And you know what? Our small town here has a ordinance against having chickens in the city limits. And before the tornado, I was actually lobbying the city to get chickens allowed, because I think I've told y'all before, our home is a historic home. And it has a really, really old, solid cinder block chicken coop in the backyard that I would love to have some chickens in. I could be showing y'all all kinds of fun stuff, but I can't do it and be legal. And, I've said I live in Southern Oklahoma. So I can't be having them secretly and showing them on YouTube. Oh, man. Rainbow ribbon snakes, bye. I don't show them on this channel because I don't want to freak anyone out. So on the second channel, I made sure to tell everyone, like, hey, don't subscribe to the second channel unless you specifically want to see my pet snakes. They're all quite beautiful and gentle. Even the gentle giants. Trip the Light says, I only have cats right now, but I love all the critters. Dog sitting for my mom's Wheaton Terriers right now. Oh, that's awesome. How fun. Brandy says, yes, I missed the book reading there. Yeah, I got to get back on that. I'm just trying to get my energy back up. Let's see. Okay. Kung Fu said, this is the best chat ever. All y'all. We do have an awesome chat. I love our chat. That's why it's taking me so long to get into the story, because I'm just enjoying chat with y'all. Brady says, goats are awesome. I wish I still had space. Yeah, I wish I could have goats too. Like, they're so cute. Kathleen says, here you can have 5 chickens. Nice. Nice. Hey, McCatherine, good to see you. Hey, CJB, good to see you popping in. CJB does some really funny parody comedy songs, y'all, if you haven't seen his channel. Patricia says, I'm grieving terribly for the loss of my dog. She would have been 16 on July 1st. All her belongings are still out. I cannot put them away, and that's okay. That is okay, Patricia, that you do that in your own time. Take all your time you need. It's a process, and I still have things, like I can look right now and see something from my flat-coated retriever that I had for 10 years. He was old whenever I adopted him, but yeah, I still keep his collar and all that good stuff. Rainbow Ribbon says, I'm sorry, but Oklahoma minus chickens is incomprehensible to me. I know. Isn't that crazy? Whenever I was lobbying the city to be allowed to have chickens, something I said once was like, y'all, I was allowed to have chickens when I lived in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm not allowed to have them in small town Oklahoma? What? Just nuts. Kathleen says, I have an American bobtail cat. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. And Trip the Light has a Japanese bobtail. We got a diversity of critters even amongst our cat people, y'all. Highland Girl says, Patricia, I'm the same, only lost her last week. Everything's still out. Can't even think about it. Don't blame you, Highland. We'll be keeping you in all our thoughts as well. Okay, let me scroll down through apartments here. CJ says, I used to do parody songs. Life got hard and quit. 300 drought. Oh, I didn't realize that, CJ. I thought I saw one the other day. Well, he's got a backlog, y'all. I understand though, like that's what happened with my second channel is like had a hard hard time with my health. Started having that. I've got another procedure coming up first week of July, and I'm hoping things will get better after that. But that's why I just lost energy for my second channel. Joe King Rogue says, you have a great voice and can be very animated. Have you ever thought about narrating an audiobook? You'd be great. You know what? It's funny you say that. A lot of you have told me that, and I really appreciate that. But so I actually have been working on a fiction novel for the last few years since before I had my channel. And I pulled it out yesterday and was working on it again some. And it's just kind of like a short, no, like novella, not really novella, like just a short story type novel, like a cozy mystery type thing. And my plan was once I get it done, I'll upload it, self-publish on Amazon because I've done that before with poetry and such. And then I'll read chapters on my other channel. So it'll be kind of like an audio book that I put out for free for anyone who wants to listen on my other channel. So yeah, that'll be coming whenever I get it done. I've been working on it for quite a while, so I don't really have a timeline on it. But yeah, I think y'all enjoy it because it'll be a fun mystery novel type thing. CJB says 1980 is definitely my favorite creator. The cover GRB, such a good soul, I can tell. I also been dealing with health, take a lot of my energy. Thank you, CJB. I appreciate that. Highlands, I agree. Great voice, very soothing. Oh, I appreciate all the compliments so much, y'all. Array says, chronic illness bites the big one. I'm working on creating a channel, but my health is so limiting. So all you're doing, Millie, is just inspiring to me. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's hard. Like I know my lives would get more viewers if I scheduled them like a day in advance and stuff where, people had time to really see them and plan on the notification and stuff. But most of the time when I do that, by the time I get to that scheduled time, I find I'm not feeling good or this or that, and I have to cancel or reschedule. And so, in order to not do that, I just kind of do the lives whenever I'm like, you know what, I'm feeling good. I think I could go live for a bit. It ends up in lower viewers, but you know what? I get to go live and hang out and chat with y'all. So, it works out. Mamacita 3701. I love that name. She said, I had a Japanese bobtail cat, but lost him to cancer. I now have a Manx that has a nubby butt. The nubby tails are the cutest. Oh, I bet they are. Hey, Ivona, I'm glad you made it in. Thank you, Kung Fu. Yeah, it's just an outpatient thing, but yeah, I should hopefully feel better once that's done. Sadly, I had it done in March and it failed. Has to be done again. CJB says, it's hectic, thankful for my kid and fiance. Good support system and home life is just the best. Thank you, McCatherine. I appreciate that. Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and get into the article because yeah, Trip, you have a good point there. Whenever the lives get really big, it's really hard for me to actually keep up with the comments. And I don't mind, that's a thing that happens, but I also really enjoy when we're all just kind of chatting like this. I was, Ivona. Yep. Array says, we caught a wild bobcat on one of our cams the other night. I was so excited. That's so cool. You know what, y'all? 1970 and I bought an automatic cat feeder with a camera in it Because my thought was like, "Ooh, I'll set it out, feed the stray cats, and then it'll be really fun to, upload the videos to my channel 'cause, use them like palate cleansers and stuff, the stray cats out eating at night and things." Well, we got one video from it, y'all, and it was a raccoon stealing it. The camera went blank when he crawled over my rock wall holding it, like, carrying the thing. So, yeah, got one video out of it, but I do need to record that and show y'all. Hey, Claudia Williams, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lives in North Phoenix. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right. Let me bring up this article. And this is from the Virgin Island Daily News, dated April 29th, 2026. That's whenever this initially went down. And it says manager of Island, once owned by Jeffrey Epstein, charged with false imprisonment. The longtime manager of Little St. James Island, Anne Rodriguez, is facing criminal charges after an incident involving suspected trespassers that occurred on March 1st, according to Virgin Islands Superior Court records. Police filed charges against Rodriguez on Sunday, including false imprisonment and kidnapping, third-degree assault, and destruction of property. She appeared in court Tuesday, where bail was set at $75,000, and Magistrate Judge Simone and Van Holten Turnbull allowed her to post 10% of that amount in cash in order to be released, according to the record of proceeding. Arraignment is set for May 15th. Let me get a drink of water real quick, y'all. Ivona, I started 20 minutes ago, but we were mainly just talking about everyone's pets for a while. We have a few people in here that have lost pets recently, and Kung Fu just got bad news about her corgi Prince's Tess. Hey, Sugar Doodles. Okay. Arraignment is set for May 15th. According to the probable cause fact sheet, Virgin Island Police and several federal agencies, including U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and U.S. Border Patrol, responded to Little St. James Island on March 1st after the Coast Guard received a call reporting that a person was waving a firearm and that someone had been taken. When the Coast Guard arrived on scene, they found a vessel with two people at the helm and a man hogtied and totally naked who said he had been stripped and restrained on the boat, and his brother had been taken to the island in another boat. Now, that's the part of the story where I started being like, what the actual hell? Because, like, okay, a trespasser came on the island. I can see, like, surrounding him and being like, no, you're not going to leave till the police get here, surrounding him with security kind of thing. But they stripped and hogtied him with duct tape. Like, what? Let me check comments again real quick. Thank you, Ivona. I appreciate that. Kathleen says it's thundering and sun is out only in Texas. Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. I'm in southern Oklahoma, not too far from the Texas border, so we probably get a lot of the same storms unless you're in deep Texas. Joy says, same in Plano. Plano's near Dallas, I believe. Trip says, I'm drowning in smoke from fires here in northern Utah. Thank you so much, Kung Fu Panda. I appreciate that. 1970, he's awesome too. He's always supporting everything I do. He had to go into work on this weekend, so it's why you might not see him popping into the chat very much. Okay, let me go back to the article. When the Coast Guard arrived on scene, they found a vessel with two people at the helm and a man hogtied and totally naked who said he had been stripped and restrained on the boat, and his brother had been taken to the island in another boat. The victim explained that he and his brother had come to St. Thomas to film a documentary about Little St. James and rented jet skis and used a drone to record. The man told investigators that due to the weather, they briefly landed the drone on the beach so they could retrieve it, and a boat began pursuing them while leaving the area, according to the fact sheet. So that's another thing too, is like they did step on the island when they shouldn't have. And this guy in his interview with Sean Ryan, he totally admits, he was like, "Look, I trespassed. I stepped on the island. However, the level of vitriol about this was just shocking and weird, you know what I mean?" And it's an important fact here too that they had already left. They were leaving on a boat. They weren't on the island anymore, and they chased him down in another boat and got him. Like they were already off the island, and Ann and these people chased him down, took him back, stirped and hogtie him. Well, let me finish reading the article and then you'll see how far it went. Oh, 1970 says lurking. Trip the Light Fantastic says flowers for all. Yes, it's always an awesome chat in here. Oh, thank you, Brandy K. And you assume correctly, he is amazing. I don't know anything of any drama, but it's not here, so we don't need to worry about that. Rainbow says, I see a Gen Xer in the bushes. Yeah, it was total overkill. Brandy, just crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay. The boat caught up to one of the brothers, and a woman later identified as Rodriguez was pointing a firearm resembling a Glock handgun at his brother, and he began recording and yelling for help, according to the fact sheet. Rodriguez was operating the boat and repeatedly yelled, "I will kill you," at them, and ordered one of the victims to jump in the water and swim to the boat, while the other went off to get help, according to the fact sheet. Agents recovered a BB gun designed to resemble a Glock 19 style handgun that closely resembled a real firearm and did not have an orange safety marking. A total of 3 such BB guns were removed from the island, according to the fact sheet. So they jumped and swum to her because they thought they had a real Glock being held on him, you know? Just wild. Brandy, one of the dudes did an interview recently on Sean Ryan. Now, I know a lot of people don't care for Sean Ryan because sometimes he goes into some really like woo-woo paranormal conspiracy stuff. But he also has good interviews that are, just people fact-based telling their stories. So, yeah, it is crazy. He described all about it, and one of the things he's said was so shocking was he thought whenever he was in this dungeon thing, and all the employees kept saying, "Wait till the owner gets here." It was going to be Steve Deckoff, the guy who bought the island in like 2022 or 2023. And it turned out to be Anne Rodriguez that they were referring to. So whether she actually does have some kind of ownership stake in it, or if they just refer to her that way for some reason, I don't know. It's just really weird. And her reaction seems like the reaction of a person who owned that land, not of someone who's just doing a job to secure it, in my opinion. Same, Highland Girl. I like a little conspiracy theory until it gets just like way crazy. And I'm like, nah, nah, nah. Okay, let me go back to this article. Rodriguez identified herself as the property manager for Little St. James Island and said people frequently approach the island to record social media content. So, yeah, even though all those people were calling her the owner, she identified herself as property manager. So it kind of seems like maybe she's created her own little fiefdom among the employees there where they think she's the owner somehow. And it feels like she's operating like she still feels like whoever does own the island has all the authorities in the bag and she can do whatever she wants. And it didn't quite turn out this way. Epstein's gone, and I don't know that Steve Dekoff has the same pool he does. He might not supply the same things, if you know what I mean, you know? Oh, yeah, I think, all you OGs in here know that I keep my tinfoil hat ready for whenever I wanna cover a conspiracy. And my tinfoil hat's all decorated up with flair because, why have a plain tinfoil hat? Benjamin Owen was charged with trespassing Saturday after Rodriguez and her pregnant daughter said they got into an altercation with Owen, who was taken to a holding area and detained by maintenance workers until police arrived. According to court records, officers found Owen body and face bound with duct tape, and before police released him from the restraints, Owen's daughter's boyfriend, identified in court documents as Paul Arnold, walked up and struck Owen, according to court records. Arnold, according to the court documents, said his girlfriend called him and said she was pushed to the ground by individuals trespassing on the island and taking photographs, and police charged him with simple assault. Now, in this guy, Owen, in his Sean Ryan's interview, he said that the camera footage doesn't show anyone shoving her. And he doesn't know why she said that, that he definitely didn't shove her or anything. However, he tried to get the cops to drop the assault charge on the guy who hit him because he was like, look, the guy thought I shoved his pregnant girlfriend. And frankly, in his position, I would have hit him too. It's fine. So he seems like a pretty reasonable guy. You know what I mean? Um, Other than he's not gonna back down from the fact that they duct taped him, stripped him, and put him in a dungeon and flex cuffs and all that stuff. But um, some of the more understandable little things like that, he's just totally fine with. Arnold, according to the court documents, said his girl. Oops, I already read that. Epstein, who became a registered sex offender in 2008, made Little St. James his primary home for 20 years before his death in 2019. As his longtime island manager, Rodriguez was responsible for overseeing everything from landscaping and maintenance to travel arrangements for Epstein's guests. At one point, Epstein said Rodriguez, oh, I misspoke. At one point, Epstein left Rodriguez 500,000 in his will, but it's unclear if she received any of that money after his death. Her name appears frequently in released documents by the U.S. Justice Department, including her emails to and from Epstein, in which she addresses him as boss man. For example, Rodriguez was included on communications about Epstein's schedule in August 2014, which included the note, Stacy Plaskett is confirmed to come see you on the island on Monday, in reference to Virgin Island Delegate to Congress, Stacy Plaskett. Now, of all the people in the Epstein files that disappointed me, Stacy Plaskett was a big one. I thought she was so amazing. Her fashion is always on point, and when she was doing that testimony, I thought she did a great job. And then it turns out now we know she was texting Epstein for tips the whole time. Some of the other characters, political characters that were in the Epstein files, were people I always expected to be in there, but she just wasn't one of them. So I was like, ugh, that's sad. Kathleen was hanging with Diddy. What? I don't know what is going on in the chat there. Oh my goodness. Everybody's talking about Reddit conspiracies and Diddy. Brandy says, and let him go. And the sister, he was let go eventually because the Virgin Island police show up. That's where it gets really weird. They were not on Anne's side like she thought they were going to be. Like, they're no longer in the bag for her, it appears to be. Says that same year, another one of Epstein's longtime employees, former First Lady Cecile de Jong, wrote to Rodriguez and other staff members, hi ladies, Jeffrey would like to attend the STEM fair at UVI Sports and Fitness Center on Friday. I think she was First Lady of the Virgin Islands, if I remember right. Let me verify that so I'm not saying wrong stuff here and then just leaving it there. Virgin Islands First Lady. Check comments real quick, and Rainbow says, I leave for a few minutes and Kathleen was let into the baby. Oh, Joy called out my aggressive, angry typing again anytime I have to Google something. I was on a live stream with Into the Weeds one time, and we are going over FOIA videos, and it's Nick Godejohn talking, and I didn't realize that my microphone wasn't muted, and I was making notes for the end for things that, thoughts I had about what he was saying. And then whenever I looked back at the chat, everyone was like, "Oh my god, how is Nick typing that fast?" And I'm like, "Oh crap, it was me, y'all. Sorry." I'm the Betty. Okay. Then it says, in another email from 2017, an individual whose name was redacted wrote to Anne Rodriguez, just want to confirm two girls, whose names are also redacted, will accompany J.E. to the island tomorrow. They will each need a room. When Epstein acquired neighboring Great St. James in 2016, emails show that Rodriguez arranged for the purchase of additional no trespassing signs around the island. The unredacted files also indicate Epstein kept BB guns in his home, including an email from an employee who wrote in 2016, "Hi, sir, we saw a BB gun in your bedroom. You want me to leave or get rid of it?" Billionaire Stephen Deckhoff purchased Little and Great St. James Island for $60 million and issued a press release announcing the acquisition in May 2023, in which he said he planned to open a resort by 2025. The resort has not materialized, and the only construction permit Deckhoff has requested is for an 8,800 square foot warehouse on Little St. James Island, according to the Virgin Islands government public records. So very, very weird. Just weird as hell. And then whenever you see this guy's interview on the Sean Ryan show, it gets way, way weirder. Hey, Claudia Williams, thank you for being in here. Hope you have a blessed day too. Highland says, my husband aggressively types. Trip the Light Fantastic says, yeah, because the signs will help, right? I think that's just a legal CYA there. Cover your ass. What do people really think they will see there? Honestly, it's weird. Now, people have seen some weird things there, but it seems like somebody's on there every other week. So I don't know what more there is to discover. And at some point, the security is going to be so insane there that no one can get within 10 feet of it. Lulu says, warehouse on the island? That's not sus. You're live. No one, right? I haven't been looking at my phone. Oh, man. So, let me show another article that shows the guy that she hogtied. You get a drink of water. Oh, wow, y'all. We look away and we got dueling gifts. 1970, my husband coming in with 5 memberships at the same time as Amber from Into the Weeds. Thank you so much, Amber, in 1970. Appreciate you. Okay. Tennessee nonprofit founder hogtied on Epstein's Island, charged with trespassing. So this is the guy right here. So as you can see, he's not like a super scrawny looking weak guy. And it kind of amazes me that Anne was able so easily to strip and hog tie him. Of course, she did have a gun on him that he thought was a real gun, a real Glock. But at the same time, I don't know, it's just crazy to me. It seems like she has to have had experience doing that kind of thing for Epstein, because otherwise, how does your mind just go straight to that? You know what I mean? And he literally said in his interview that when he started freaking out a little was when Anne and her people were saying, "Take him to the dungeon," and he was like, "Dungeon on Epstein's island? What the fuck?" And he was really thinking at a point that he was going to be beheaded, that it was going to be like one of those cartel beheading videos, and that was going to happen in that dungeon. And considering that the only thing, as we just read at the end of that other article, the only permit that's been applied for on that island since Deckhoff bought it, and Anne is apparently running around there calling herself the owner, managing it by hog tying trespassers. The only thing that's been applied for was that big warehouse. Like, was that the dungeon? Or was there already one? Just weird, 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 weird. Okay, so it says on Sunday, authorities were called to a reported kidnapping and assault on Little St. James, the island formerly owned by Epstein, Virgin Islands police said in a court filing. When they arrived on the island, police say they were met by three people, one of whom was initially aggressive towards police. They escorted officers by all terrain vehicles to a holding area, the dungeon. Officers found a man, later identified as Owen, restrained by duct tape on his body and face, wearing black pants with the lettering, "We Fight Monsters," according to the report. One of the men on the island told police that his pregnant girlfriend had been pushed to the ground by trespassers taking pictures on the island. While other people fled, Owen was restrained by island personnel to protect the island, police said. The worker was later charged with assaulting Owen in front of officers, according to the report. Police determined that there was probable cause that Owen had been unlawfully restrained. Now, the assault in front of the officers is where Emery Polion's boyfriend punched him, thinking that he'd shoved down his pregnant girlfriend, and where Owen said, "Don't charge him on that." He thought that I would have done the same thing in his position. Joy says, "Love me some dragons." Kung Fu says, "I'm at the lovely outdoor living space part of life. Anything dungeon like is a hard no." Trip the Light Fantastic says, "A dragon on a dungeon on an island, and the green grass grew all around." Sounds very fairy tale like, and she lived happily ever after. And an alien in a Waffle House. Oh, you know that. That was my last tinfoil hat video. We didn't go past a lot of Waffle Houses on our last trip, our last road trip, or I was gonna go in one and see if I could get an employee to interview on live, doing kind of a funny parody employee interview, and I would just ask them, how many times have the aliens landed at your Waffle House, kind of thing. Sandman says, "How has this island not been completely shut down? Or at least completely changed?" I'm not one that's for destruction of it completely, because bad things have happened at, World Heritage sites have had human sacrifices, and we don't destroy those, but the usage needs to be completely changed. The personnel needs to be completely changed. Like, there does not need to be a dungeon there. What the hell? And that's my thought on it. But I respect that other people think different and feel that it needs to be completely nuked. Everybody's totally free to their opinion, and mine might not be the best opinion. Um, Kathleen says that would be funny. Yeah, next Waffle House I go to, I'm gonna try that. Kung Fu says, "I think we can all agree that aliens at Waffle House is a thing, not a conspiracy." Well, the head of FEMA is out there saying he got teleported. Oh man. Lulu says, "Did you get a dog?" No, it's my fan. My fan has like a rattle to it from going constantly for, I don't know, 2 years. Sorry about that. Leave it as an oddity tourist site. That's kind of how the Mayan temples where, human sacrifices and children and stuff happen. It could be a museum type place. Or I wouldn't be opposed to it being under private ownership, but I think it needs to be completely different and all Epstein's old people like gone from that place, to actually really turn it around kind of thing. Maybe destruct the temple. I don't know. Okay, where was I at here? In his statement, Owen confirmed Saturday's events. As confirmed by multiple media reports and public record, I was arrested for trespassing on Epstein Island over the weekend while attempting to do some research to get that story back in the spotlight and raise awareness for our nonprofit We Fight Monsters, which combats human trafficking and exploitation. Those same reports also highlight that I was kidnapped, hogtied, and blindfolded by an individual who managed the island for Jeffrey Epstein himself, a woman who apparently still manages and resides on the island today. I'd like to thank Virgin Island Police for rescuing me from that debacle, and I look forward to seeing what the legal process uncovers as all of this proceeds. One thing I'll add, no one pushed the woman on the beach, and we have video of that confrontation when the time is right. At the request of the magistrate, that's all I'm able to say now, just repeating publicly available information. I'm unable to discuss any specifics of the case. One of the women who met with the police in Owen's case is identified in court documents from a separate case as Ann Rodriguez, a property manager for Little St. James. Nextstar's News Nation reports that Rodriguez, who appeared more than 200 times in the Department of Justice records related to the Epstein investigation, let me just break in here and say she appears way more than 200 times. She is facing charges in a May incident. Authorities allege that she pursued two brothers in a boat and forced one to strip and kneel before being hogtied. Rodriguez allegedly chased other members of Owen's group in a boat while maintenance workers on the island detained him. Epstein, a New York financier, why do they keep calling him that? A New York financier instead of saying Epstein, a convicted pedophile. With connections to business, Hollywood, and political elites, was convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor and died in prison in 2019, awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. So, yeah, it's just so weird to me how over the top she is about protecting that island to the point all these people that work there with her are calling her the owner, but she's still an island manager there, just like she was for Epstein all those years. Just what? Triple Eight Fantastic says, would anyone truly feel okay hanging out at Disney or something in a place? Yeah, I don't know about it like a Disney or something, but like I said, I don't know. I do think it could be changed, but I also don't know. I don't have a full thought of what that would look like. You know what I mean? Hey, Colado, or Caltato, good to see you. Beautiful Mess, Pro Burger, hey, good to see you. Glad to see you in here. Joy says, awesome. Brandy says, Disney is also twisted. Disney, honestly, I think would be a bad move for Epstein's Island because there are too many photos of Epstein at Disney with possible victims and so many emails about him having special access at Disney and rumors of the Disney cruise making stops at his island. I don't know if that one was ever confirmed or remain rumors, but I feel like Disney on there would just be bad look, just kind of bad news brown. That's where I say I feel like it could be rehabilitated to something different. It would just have to be done super respectfully. Sandman says nature preserved, no humans. That is that would be that wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah. Let's revive some endangered species there that need that environment. Animal sanctuary. Hey, we got it. Animal sanctuary for Epstein's Island. The employees there are still Epstein's old employees. They were acting as if Epstein's still in charge. So I'm not too worried about their jobs. You know what I mean? Normally, when calling for a place to be shut down, my first thought is, what about those employees? But not when it comes to Epstein's Island and and Rodriguez. Yeah. Cal Tato says, I've never been in my anxiety. I've never been either. I've been to things like Six Flags, obviously Silver Dollar City in Branson. I grew up near there. I was there all the time as a kid because all of us worked in Branson, all of our teenage group. And when you worked there back then, I don't know if it's still the case, but you could go to all the parks for free. So we'd be there every Sunday at Silver Dollar City. Oh, yeah, Turtle Island. Yeah, Kathleen, like I I'm not a Disney hater. I actually really love vintage Disney movies and like the old Disney books and stories and stuff like that, but I've never had any desire to go to modern Disney World or Land or any of those. Lulu says, how about turning in prison for pedophiles? It's too beautiful of a place. I feel like they'd have a good time there. Pedophiles need to be in alligator Alcatraz or something like that, in my opinion. You know? Okay, so I wanted to kind of give you an idea of how Anne Rodriguez worked for Epstein. Read some of her emails here. And some of the first ones that come up, they don't seem to really sort in order on the Jmail. For anyone who doesn't know, there's a website that was created. It's called jmail.world. And it's all the Epstein emails from the released files. And they're put on this website that is made to look as if you were looking at Jeffrey Epstein's Gmail. So we got Anne Rodriguez arranging flights with Leslie Groff. Leslie recently testified before Congress. And here Anne is she's always helping arrange transport and accommodations for the girls because that's what was the main thing at the item. The girls coming through with Jeffrey and the other people. So here, Jeffrey says Lisa should be picked up at 12 from Cruise Bay, brought to Island, luggage run at 1, Hetty at 2. Lisa, thanks for this. We actually have arranged for a ferry to take us directly to Charlotte Amalie Airport. It should arrive by 2. If that's where you leave from, would that be simpler for you? Then Anne to Leslie Groff. Good morning, Miss Randall. Mr. Epstein has requested that his boat Captain Carlos pick you up from the St. John National Park at 12 p.m. today and bring you straight to his private island. For your departure, 1:30 p.m. via helicopter to St. Thomas Jet Center. Your luggage, as well as others, will be taken down to Jet Center at 12:15. Anne Rodriguez, Island Manager. See, it's still same title now as what she had with Epstein was in those. Anne says, yes, it's about 2 minutes away from Cruise Bay. And then Anne's talking about buying some property here. And it seems like it was some sort of deal for Jeffrey, maybe. I don't know. Anne emails someone named Alexander Lang. Says, hi, Miss Lang. I'm interested in buying property listed for sale at 97 Smith Bay. I would like to offer $250K cash with zero financing. Please call me. Anne Rodriguez. Hi, Miss Lang. I would like to make a written offer of $250K with a 10% deposit. Anne Rodriguez. Alexander replies and says, you already gave me an offer of $250,000 and it was rejected. I emailed you with the seller's answer of a counter of $350,000. So Anne sends this on to Jeffrey and says, hey, boss man, I just spoke with Miss Lang. She says the owner is firm on her $350K offer and she's only interested in serious inquiries. The property has been on the market for 3 years, but no serious offers. Jeffrey says, bid $255. Tell her you are borrowing $100K from your uncle. So obviously she's acquiring this for Jeffrey. Like she was in deep with Jeffrey, So Anna says, "Hey, boss man, I remember Miss Lang saying yesterday that she has 3 tenants living there at the moment. Would you like me to get the owner's phone number from one of the tenants?" I don't know what relevance that is, but they were probably going to do something shady. These are the same emails. Here she says, per your verbal offer, 250. The owners come back with 350. And I was trying to see what she said about her uncle, but I don't see it there. Let me check comments real quick. Kung Fu says, have you all seen what's behind Disneyland? They have rows and rows of Disney police cars, barred cells with giant character murals on the wall. There's a whole other world there. I saw a YouTube video about that, but I haven't watched the whole thing. But Trip Delight says, wasn't normal Alcatraz beautiful once? I don't know. Good question. I have no idea. Fantasia. I like Disney's Fantasia. A whole new world. Caltato says they should make it a healing sanctuary of some sort. That would be nicer to help human trafficking victims. There's another good idea. Brandy says, and release all the UFO files already. Right? Okay, then the next email we have is Anne starts talking about the Piney Woods thing. So this is where they sent Anne's daughter to one of those troubled teen schools in Piney Woods, Mississippi. They inquired about one in rural Missouri. That's what first got me interested in this story because I was searching for Missouri in the emails once we first got access to these and come across a troubled teen school in Missouri. And I'm like, oh no, is he recruiting from there? So anyway, this is from Anne to William Barber. It says, good afternoon, Mr. Barber. Please see the attached for the form request to complete requested information to complete Sierra Pullion's enrollment. Medical consent form, leave authorization form, student health history, $50 application fee. Would you like me to call in a credit card to pay the application fee? Thank you. William says, hello, Miss Rodriguez. The best way to pay the $50 app fee is to contact Miss Libby Snell, senior accountant here at Piney Woods School. Blah, blah, blah. And she's looking for tuition information. Talking about when she can depart. Tuition package. This says, hello, Miss Rodriguez. Praying all is well with you. I met with the finance office the other day, and I know the income information that you supplied to our office was passed on to them for further processing. Based on your information request in this email, I'm supplying you with the email address for Miss Janisha Gaylord, who works in the finance office. She would have more up-to-date information on how quickly that tuition enrollment agreement can be sent directly to you. Her email address is... I'm trying to understand here if they're trying to get reduced tuition, which would be crazy because I'm pretty sure Epstein's paying for it. Like, are they trying to get reduced tuition based on Anne's salary alone or something? Weird, weird, weird. And this doesn't seem to have anything worthwhile in reading in it. It's just details about tuition agreement over and over. This one, talking about a visit for a boat. Boss man said 28th of July. Prepare all the boats for your test drive. LSJ bonus confirming. Sorry, boss man. What about Guy, Danny V, Carmen, Sandra, and R? Hey, boss man, confirming payroll records. TJ, Sheridan, Smiley, Jerry, Guasemi, Jason, Uncle, Randy, and Gardy will receive a week's salary as a bonus. Dupson will get paid for vacation time not used. Sheridan, yes, as well as landscaper. Oh, this is Christmas bonuses. I was wondering at first if like they asked them to do something extra that they were getting bonuses for, but it looks like it's just Christmas bonuses. This appears to be just scheduling with boat captains. They're doing surveys. Quote for mechanical building. Please find your quote for mechanical room attached. Elderfield and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day. And please find it. That's the same one. Jeffrey forwards it. He's asking to get bids. Says they will need to do a site survey following proposals for job. What kind of mechanical buildings? Finishing chillax window job and flashing on great room. Buck steel for sheds, expert builders for foundation work. What is he talking about with a mechanical building? You switch to comments and see if any of you know. I'm not seeing anyone who knows. Yeah, very weird. Okay. And please find the quote for our mechanical room attached. Where's the attachment? Oh, that just copied the email link. I thought it was going to take me to the attachment. I really want to know what this mechanical room is about. And emails Jeffrey here about someone named Chris. Says, hey, boss man, Chris came into the office on Friday saying he can't wait to get the fuck out because he's uncomfortable working on Little St. James. And now this morning he said his wife isn't doing well and he need to leave ASAP. He's requesting to leave tomorrow if possible. Chris, please advise. June 16th. Oh, Jeffrey says, until when was he supposed to stay? Then he says, ask him to stay until the 17th so I can meet with him. I'm sure Jeffrey wanted to threaten or get him to sign something since the guy said he's uncomfortable working on Little St. James. Kind of ominous that he wanted to meet with him, you know? Beach bar and cistern. Pokey says he is unable to pay his 2 helpers with $1,000 a week. Blah, 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 logistics. No 1,000 per. He knows he gets paid only at the end, but we will be generous. He's requesting 2,000. This seems like just negotiations back and forth. But what is the cistern? Because a cistern is like an old well type thing. Hang on, let me Google. Was there a cistern on Epstein's island? Angry type in again. There's no traditional cistern structure. Weird. Very, very weird. Brandy says, I bet he was uncomfy, right? Joy says, so many creepy things. Stacy says, 1970s sleeping. He's at work today. He doesn't usually work on the weekends, but he got called in. So he's been lurking, but not in the chat much. So yeah, it's unusual for him not to be around. Ticket for Ann M. Rodriguez. Natalia Molokova. Morning, Natasha. We needed to purchase the below round trip coach ticket for Ann Rodriguez. Thanks, Leslie. Looks like she was going to Jackson, Mississippi. I believe this was to get Sierra after she got kicked out. Karina Shuliak, that was Epstein's last girlfriend. And this forward says, Boss Man's voter's card. Hi, Chris. Hi, Karina. Cecile asked me for the Boss Man's new voter's ID card. If you have it, can you please send it via FedEx to the office? Cecile was the first lady of the Virgin Islands and also an Epstein employee. How weird is that? And this is another ticket for Anne going to Miami. I think that was when she was dropping off Sierra at the at Piney Woods. Let me Google real quick Sierra so y'all can see how Anne talked about her. It was crazy. So this is Anne's daughter, and it seems like Anne raised her with having Jeffrey around as some sort of father figure, which is super, super creepy, you know? Oh, it's a that's why Stacy was asking. No, my fan has a rattle and yeah, it's confusing everyone. Yeah, I don't think anyone was comfortable there than people partaking. No worries, Trip the Light. I'm glad you're here. And the doggies are here too. Oh, Ruslana is who you're thinking of. Yeah, she got taken there to Epstein's Island, sadly, and took her life 2 years later. Well, thank you, Lulu Busby, becoming a new member. No worries, Ruth Carroll. We've been going about an hour and 10 minutes, so we'll probably wrap up here in a bit, but I'm glad you're in here. Stacy thought it was snoring. Oh, man. I didn't realize what you were asking about. I'm just like, no, he's at work. Bacall and Finley, Wheaton dogs say woof to all. We'll woof back at him. That's so sweet. Okay, so Sierra Polion on November 2017. Happy Thanksgiving, Jeffrey. Thanks for everything, Sierra. These are sad. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. I hope you have a great day, Sierra. What's really sad is it feels like Anne and her two daughters are still loyal to either Jeffrey or that island or what was going on because they're hog tying people and putting them in dungeons there, you know? Now, this is after Sierra was at the Piney Woods School. She says, please, Jeffrey, I never felt unsafe until today. I am going to die, Sierra. And Jeffrey replies, you broke your agreement. You can leave if you want. If you do, I can no longer help. Your choice. That's how he always controls the girls, and that's why it feels like Anne's allowing her own daughters to be controlled by Jeffrey in the same way as all the other girls he had around, which makes me wonder just how far it went, you know? Sierra says, happy birthday, Jeffrey. I hope you have a great day. Sierra. He says, thanks, have fun. That's the same email again. Please, Jeffrey, I never felt unsafe until today. I'm going to die. Another email the same month. Hi, Jeffrey. I'm so sorry. I don't feel safe at this school, and the school ain't doing nothing about it. Can I please come, please, soon? Sierra. Sierra says, sorry, I know you're very mad at me right now, but I apologize. I'll try harder to do better, and I promise don't give up on me. Sierra Pullian. Which I don't even know what she's in trouble for here, but it's weird how much she's apologizing to him, you know, as opposed to her mom or anyone else. And here's Anne emailing Piney Woods, and Anne's her mom, and Anne says, I'm just checking to see if a decision was made on Sierra to be a student at Piney Woods. Please advise. And Anne says, hey, boss man, I just spoke with Ms. Wansley, assistant, who advised me that all info was received and I should have an answer around 5 p.m. from Ms. Wansley. I will let Leslie know to go ahead with Sierra's ticket tomorrow for Miami. And she tells Leslie to get her a ticket. Someone redacted says, sure, you say tomorrow morning. Did you have a flight in mind? Blah, blah, blah. That's probably Leslie, and I don't know why they redacted her. Anne says, sure, that could work. It looks as if Sierra and I are going to need a ticket to Jackson, Mississippi for Saturday morning. My ticket returning to St. Thomas tomorrow can be canceled since Sierra is coming up. Thank you so much for all your patience with me. And then just more logistics. says, oh, these are the same ones. It just shows flights. They had to get Emery and Sears banking info for some reason. She's talking about the tickets again. There are a lot of repeats and the way that they release these. And so since this website pulls directly from the government's release files, all the repeats they have are here. And also when the government deletes one, they disappear from here. I noticed that. There's some I wish I would have screenshotted, saved somehow, you know. Same things again. Those are all the same. Issue a ticket. Harian says, can you please book 2 round trips? Oh, okay, same thing. So many duplicates. Anna Sierra flight, a whole bunch of them. Flight for tomorrow. Now this is several years before, because the troubled teen school that they're putting her in at Piney Woods, that's happening in 2018. Now we go 3 years earlier to 2015. And this guy, I don't know who he is, but he says, hello, Anne. Attached, you will find the boarding enrollment agreements for Sierra and Emory at North Broward Prep. Congratulations. I need 1 page of agreements, completed, scan, back to me confirmation of $3,000 deposit, $6,000 total have been made. Once I receive these and the deposit is confirmed, we will send the original acceptance letter, pre-arrival information. Let me be the first to welcome Sierra and Emory to North Broward. And then Anne immediately forwards to Jeffrey. Hey, boss man, North Broward is requesting $3,000 deposit for each child. Deposit due is $6,000. First installment is $26,000 for each child. Should be paid in May. First tuition payment $53,000 in total. Can be paid with credit card or wire transfer. Please advise. Richard Kahn says, shall I pay for your personal STC or LSJ? From your personal. He's asking which one to pay from. Jeff says, okay. And then he says, yes. And Richard Kahn says, please confirm which one, personal, STC, or LSJE. And Jeffrey says personal. So Jeffrey was paying for their school. You know, that's kind of part of the weird thing. Yeah, it's his assistant's daughter. And the Ann woman, no, she's his island manager. And what's weird is she's still the island manager now. And she was just arrested for hog tying and stripping, duct taping, and throwing in dungeons trespassers to the islands trying to take pictures. And her with the new owner, her title is still island manager. That's part of what makes it so weird. Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. We don't mind explaining. Sierra is Anne's daughter. Anne is his island manager. And Anne is still the island manager there now for the new owner. And she just got arrested for stripping and hog tying people. Yeah, it's crazy. She's still a huge thing. So yeah, whenever she sent the income and stuff to the troubled teen school, that's why I was like, huh, that's weird, because I'd seen these emails before and I knew Jeffrey was going to be paying for it. So yeah, just strange. Let's see. But yeah, 3 years before they were at North Broward Prep. I don't know if they had a problem there or something. And that's what caused them to, or Sierra at least, to have to switch to Piney Woods, or what? Payee update, Sierra Pullion added. DB Private Online Wealth Plus. Weird. I don't know. It seems like Sierra, like Anne's children, were also getting direct access to large accounts from Jeffrey to use. It's just really there's a weird situation going on there. I've wondered if he's their dad at times, but I doubt that, but I it's weird, y'all. Just super, super weird. Haven't heard anything since the girls' interview. Oh, that's just their admission still. After reviewing their files, we will be willing to offer them both admission. Then here's Sierra in 2015 emailing Jeffrey and saying, "Hey, Jeffrey, the last week of camp was really fun, and I made two friends from Guadalupe. I would really like to see them again because I was alone and they came to talk to me and told me to come back next year visit them. They told me to back there with a friend next time because I will have so much fun at the camp. And they told me they might not come back, so at least I would have a friend with me. Please, I hope I can go to Guadalupe to see those girls I met at camp. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for the nice summer." So just knowing that kind of email would be very innocent if it wasn't to Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I mean? Just weird, weird, weird. Anne emails someone and says, "I hope all is well with you and your family going forward. Bella asks that I go to you for airline purchases for myself and the girls. Uh, Emma and myself have been to Barry University. I'm hoping to kill two birds with one stone by taking Cece with us one time. I'm awaiting a decision from Piney Woods for Sierra." Yeah, I what I can't figure out is how they went, what caused them to take Sierra from North Broward to Piney Woods. And whenever Sierra got kicked out of there for fighting, there was someone that Jeffrey suggested Anne have go pick her up. And Anne told Jeffrey that that guy said no, that if he had to pick her up, he would beat her. Like, it's just crazy, crazy. Beautiful Mess says someone needs to check up on the two girls from Guadalupe. Right? Exactly. Natasha Richardson. Hey, good to see you in here, Natasha. She says, "I watched the documentaries and gross." Exactly. Exactly. Brandy K says, "Whose payroll is she on now?" That's the big question because it would seem to be that Steven Deckoff guy who has bought the island, but it's really super weird. He kept on all Epstein's old employees and they seem to be running it the same way, holding people with fake guns at gunpoint and throwing them in dungeons, you know? Crazy, crazy. So let me look up Piney Woods specifically because there are more emails about that whole debacle that are just nuts. Now, Cece, I believe, is Sierra. That's their nickname for her. Yeah, it kind of confirms that here. So here, January 2019, Anne emails Jeffrey and says, "Hey, boss man, Cece had two fights with the same girl this morning. She was very disrespectful to their staff and faculty. Mr. Galding said she cannot stay at Piney Woods any longer because of her behavior and disrespect. Mr. Galding said that Sierra is self-consumed and extremely disrespectful. He's sending a letter shortly stating her dismissal from Piney Woods." Now, considering that this girl appears to have grown up on Epstein's island with Epstein as a father figure, I can imagine she's got problems. I can just imagine she's got problems, you know? Let me check comments again. Oh, hey, just Peachy said, "Whoever give me a membership, thank you." Yeah, Into the Weeds in 1970's been gifted memberships in here. So from one of them. 1970 is my husband. Kung Fu said, "Why does Piney Woods sound so foreboding?" Oh, it is. Like, yeah, it's a historical place and it's got a very, it's a vibe. I'll show it to you all here in a minute. Natasha says, "It made me think of whether or not I do things for a little bit of money when I was a girl and teen. There's no effing way." Yeah, I understand a lot of them were not only some were desperate, but some also were just they thought it was just going to be okay. They'll, "Oh, older guy wants me to do a massage, maybe wants to see me naked, whatever. They didn't think it was going to end up what it actually was. And a lot of them thought they'd get a modeling gig out of it. Most of them were 14. It just, yeah, so sad. Ruth says might be switching schools for recruiting, possibly. Yeah, I wonder too, because a lot of times those schools they're very like religiously conservative, and sometimes they have crazy dress standard codes and rules and stuff. Like the one in Missouri that they were looking at before they decided to send her to Piney Woods has all the kids dressing like the Duggars and, with rules 100 times worse. They were shut down for, physical abuse. Yeah, good to see you in here, Peach. Natasha said it is not normal to be around a pervert when you're young. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Brandy. Yep, definitely manipulated. Natasha went to a Catholic school. Yeah, I went to Pentecostal schools, private schools, and then was homeschooled the majority after that. And yeah, the Pentecostal ones, they're pretty wild. Hey, April Real Talk. Glad to see you in here. Hope you're doing well too. The poor Duggars so in wanting their own truths. Yeah. I I don't I feel sorry for the kids in that, the current little kids. So Richard says, still chasing to receive refund. Have been 6+ weeks since she left the school. Unfortunately, no urgency when it's your money. Anne says, no response as of yet. I've left several messages. I will call the Dean of Piney Woods tomorrow until I reach one. Any update on a refund check? So they're trying to get a refund since she got kicked out. Says we are able to get back $3,256 paid. That's back to talking about admission. And so after they initially looked at all different random rural boarding schools, then they started looking for African American boarding schools specifically because Anne and her daughters are Black. And she sent these 3 options, and Jeffrey chose Piney Woods. Like it was up to Jeffrey where her daughter went to school at. I guess since he was paying the bill, that was fine with her, which, oh, wow, Piney Woods page is gone. I just tried to open it from there and look what I got, friends. The 404 error of death. Let's see if Piney Woods org still exists. Oh, it does. Look at that. Yeah, here's Piney Woods. It's a really old building. They're showing kind of a nice, kind of updated version of it there. Farm and agriculture. It has a working farm. All the kids have to work the farm. Let me find pictures of this place, not their own promotional pictures. Okay, so this is how old it is. There's the school in 1923. See it here? Piney Woods Country Life School, Braxton, Mississippi. Dr. Lawrence C. Jones founded the Piney Woods Country Life School in 1909 to give rural African Americans a vocational education. After graduating from University of Iowa in 1907, Jones became the director of academics at Utica Institute. He began traveling widely through Mississippi. During his travels, he decided to establish a school and chose the impoverished area of Piney Woods outside Jackson. The Pineywood's country school life began with only 3 students. By the 1940s, there were 350 pupils from a number of different states, including Michigan, Florida, and Pennsylvania. Students at the school were trained in industrial, agricultural, and housework. Today, the school is one of 5 historically black boarding schools left in the United States. So this is the setup of it where you can see there's not a lot around it. And when you look at it today, they've maintained a lot of the land around the buildings still so that it's still a bit isolated. Oh crap, I was showing this whole website and pointing things out and not realizing I was on the wrong page. Hang on. Okay, yeah, so see here's the original buildings in 1923. And this picture here is what I was talking about with the aerial layout. You see how much land surrounds all the buildings? And it seems like from the pictures I've seen that they've maintained in private ownership for themselves a lot of the surrounding land. So it's remote to get to the kids. Ruth says, I was never in a desperate situation, but I did dangerous stuff, making friends with strangers. Yeah, I did really dangerous stuff in my late teens and early 20s because I left home at 17 in order to get away from an extreme Pentecostal religious, like oppressive situation at the time. And I did a lot of really dangerous stuff that I'm grateful that, I survived through and didn't get seriously hurt because I didn't have, not going to high school and being so secluded. I didn't have like a good sense of who to be afraid of. You know what I mean? It was weird. Um, Kung Fu says it's normalized hiding behind an ideology to abuse women and children. It's about as far as you can get from God. As an atheist, I agree. I completely agree. Brandy says, yes, panda. Natasha says they chop wood and get torturd, probably. Probably, sadly. Highland Girls from Scotland, Ivona. Definitely bad schools. Yeah, Brandy, and I'm just peachy. The remoteness isn't just so people can't see what's going on. It's also so it's harder for the kids to run away. Yep. I know what you mean, Brandy. We put ourselves in dumb stuff young. Beautiful mess says same. I'm pretty sure I was almost kidnapped and maybe killed twice. We're happy that you weren't, beautiful mess. Very happy you weren't. Oh, cool. Ivona's mother-in-law was from Scotland. How awesome. Highland Girl says, I did some crazy ish growing up. Thank God I've grown up. Exactly. Well, friends, I think I'm going to shut down here. So we've been going for about an hour and a half. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that. Don't y'all find it weird as hell that this lady is still in the same position? Doing the same stuff basically on the island. I mean, we hope she's not coordinating rooms for very young underage girls coming through there. But if, as we can hope that that's not happening. It seems that everything else is still the same, you know? It seems still totally the same. Just crazy, crazy. But the Steven Deckhoff guy, let me just search him real quick. Was he emailing Epstein? Make sure I'm spelling his name right because nothing came up for him. Steven Deckoff. No, I spelled it right. There doesn't appear to be any emails between him and Epstein's emails, but I'm kind of curious to find out more about that guy too. That might be one coming up. So thank you all so much again for being in here. Peace and love. Trip the light, fantastic. Yeah, I don't know, Natasha. I got to find out. Like, ah. So have a good day, everyone. I'm just Peach says I'm a rebel. I'm just Peach does some funny videos. Ruth Carroll says, I think Ted Bundy taught me a lot because he was going after young girls with parted down the middle hair, just like me. Oh, that's so scary. Yeah. Yeah, it really creeped me out too because I remember in the early 2000s, whenever a lot of Christian groups were totally against Victoria's Secret Pink and stuff like that, Abercrombie, and they're like, they're grooming teenagers. And I thought they were being over the top and ridiculous. And now we know that those companies were owned and controlled by people like Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein. So, yeah, like, ugh, I just don't know. Well, anyway, I hope you're all having a great day, friends. Like I said, I'll be putting up some membership videos today, and I hope you all have a good weekend.